We are back. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on this Tuesday night. Last Tuesday, we couldn't be with you live. We had some family stuff on, so we wanted to say a very big thank you for everyone who sent us very kind messages and flowers and all the love and support that we got last week. My dad actually asked me to say thank you to all for all your kind messages. He read through everyone on YouTube.
Read all of them.
Read through all of them. So
Wow.
Big thank you to everyone who reached out to us last week. We're super glad to be back tonight, and we have an awesome guest coming on with us very shortly. Just before we get started, we wanted to do a quick shout out to Castle Door Select for hooking us up with these sweet t-shirts. Jazz has been looking for this Uriah Heep one for a very long time.
He found it.
And I got an awesome Red Hot Chili Peppers. So I'm just going to give him a real quick plug before we get Samson on. So if you haven't checked out Castle Door Select, head over on Instagram. Awesome stuff. Great dude. He's putting out a lot of good content about tags and stuff of vintage clothing at the moment. So definitely check him out. Thank you very much.
And I want to preface that he said, "Do not shout me out."
He did, yeah. He didn't even want any recognition.
But guess what? We're excited.
Massive thank you for that. Now let's get straight into our special guest for this evening. This guy is absolutely killing it on YouTube, doing really well. Moved into full-time reselling recently due to COVID and I guess a few reasons that he'll talk about. But without any further ado, we'll get Samson up and hopefully we'll have a great chat. If you guys have any questions along the way, drop them in the chat and we'll try and pick them up as well.
Let's go.
Hey, Samson, good to see you again.
G'day, Brad. Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. And good day, Jazz, as well. Thank you very much for having me on. I really appreciate it, as I said. And yeah, really excited to talk with you guys tonight.
We've been wanting to have you on for a while because you're putting out some really great vids and really, really interesting content that's really useful.
Yeah, definitely. You're definitely sort of pumping out a lot of that like helpful type video, like how-tos and a little bit of the back-end stuff that a lot of people don't sort of talk about. So it's good to get different people on and have a chat and sort of expose them to a few Aussies that may not have found you just yet. We did have you on the Wide World of Reselling. So that was our sort of, I guess, first live interaction with you. And yeah, we learned a little bit about you then, but we definitely wanted to bring you on and find out more about Samson because firstly, you're 20, which is incredible. So you're 20, you're now a full-time reseller, which really blows my mind because at 20 years old, I was definitely not as focused as you on building a business and a career. So firstly, welcome. Give everyone a little bit of a quick introduction to yourself, and then we'll say a quick hello to the chat as well.
All right. Well, good day, everyone. Thank you very much for coming and watching this live stream. I really appreciate Brad and Jazz having me on. I'm 20 years old, as they said. I'm a full-time eBay seller, and I also produce YouTube videos. I upload 2 videos a week on my channel, SamsonTV, and that basically describes me. I've been selling on eBay full-time for just about 6 months now, and it's allowed me to really change the way I live. It allowed me to move out of my parents' home, and so I'm very thankful for eBay. The opportunities it's given me, and I like to spread that message in my videos.
Definitely, and you've definitely got a good range of information on your channel, which I think is why you're growing so fast. You picked up 400 subs in the last month, which is pretty insane. I had a quick look the other day, and I was like, man, Samson's growing really well, which is so cool to see. It's cool to see new Aussies growing and building a community around them as well. So thank you for joining us as well. We really appreciate you giving us some of your time. We'll say good day to a few people in the chat because we are thankful for everyone being here. Flipper's in, Diary with Flipper, tucking into a couple brown lemonades, which I think might be code for beer.
Brown lemonade.
Aussie VHS Thrifter, Robbie, good to see you. Sam's in, Mum's in the house, so my mum's come to check you out as well. Rack Raiders, good to see Michael. Had a quick chat to Michael before, which was awesome. Big Daddy, I haven't seen that name before, so I'm not sure if it's come over from your channel, but thank you for being here. We have our best friend Cara in the chat. Scott, always good.
Scott's always working.
Yeah, he's always working. Gary, Charlie, Captain of Shop Nerd is here. Tamara, Raw Gill. My name is Nicole. Nicole, I think that's right. Ben, Deb, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Trish, I'll probably miss a bunch of people here. So if I miss your name,
there's a whole crowd.
Thanks for being here. Jesse Lee, Raucous Reg.
There it goes.
Adam, as an American in Australia. Steph, Recommerce Dave, Dave Repairs, Gibbsy Goodness,
Take the mickey.
Thanks for being here. Pat Dees has dropped us $2 super chat. Just show your Instagram post. I'll catch replay. Thanks.
Well,
Pat,
thank
for
you
$2.
very much.
Cookie and the Haydens are here. Awesome UK channel. So
I actually got to catch the end of their live this morning, and it is worth a watch back.
Suncoast Beats, Shazad's boats. So there we go. Shazad, Mossy, Oz Riley. So that, I'm sure there's other people that we missed there, but we won't spend too much time because we want to get into the questions for Samson. So I guess I like to always find out the reason behind getting into reselling for people, because there's always like a vast range of different reasons and circumstances that have led to people getting into reselling. Now, I know you've gone full-time like semi-recently, but before that, what got you involved in reselling? Like, what was the thing that sort of got in your brain when you were like, I need to give this a crack?
Well, the first video regarding reselling that I probably ever saw was one by Paul Cantu, who's a really big United States content creator. He goes to thrift shops and he finds just clothing. And to me, it seemed that he was able to make a really good income just reselling clothing from thrift shops. And I was inspired by that, but I was still very skeptical of the business of reselling, because my whole thought process was, if it's being sold for, only a few dollars in a thrift shop, there's no way that it would really have that much of a value online. And pretty much immediately I found out that that wasn't the case. And I just saw it as a really flexible way that you could make money, and it was enjoyable. You got to learn a lot also from reselling. You learn to become, I guess, more thrifty in your regular life and learn the value of different products and just see value in things that you wouldn't usually. And I've always had an interest in clothing, which is what I predominantly resell. But just in terms of reselling, it was really those videos on YouTube actually that inspired me initially to go and give it a go.
That's awesome. I think that's how most people that I've spoken to have got into it, either by watching a video or their parents were like super heavily involved in like secondhand stuff. So it's interesting to see how everyone gets into it and then the progression into what it turns into. So for you, we'll stay on the reselling side of it for now, and we'll talk a little bit about YouTube later on. But reselling for you is now sustaining you full-time essentially. And you have a few different avenues that you're currently sort of using. You're importing a little bit of gear. You're also doing the op shop sort of thrift runs that a lot of us do. But what was the trigger for you to go, I need to do this full time? So I know you sort of finished up at school and then you were sort of in between things. So what was the sort of the nail in the coffin that you were like, I need to knuckle down and do this full time?
Well, for me, it was kind of about 6 months ago. I actually was trying to play video games at a professional level, and I recognized that that was not really getting me financially what I wanted. And also, it wasn't a terribly healthy way to make money. You spend a lot of time at the computer. And even though you do that as well with reselling, there's a lot more involved in that. And so I'd finished up with that, and it was basically just around the time that COVID hit. So I was looking to find another job. I previously worked in a restaurant, but that was really my only real job. So instead of looking for another job, I decided to put all of my effort into reselling. And fortunately at that time, possibly to do with COVID, my products that I'd been selling, I started to get a lot more sales as well, especially the products that I've been importing. The sales really took off. This was around April. And I recognized then that I was probably making more money from reselling than I would be if I decided to try and get a different job. So I decided to stick with it, and I haven't looked back since.
Nice.
It's pretty cool to see someone sort of take that leap and just go, you know what, I'm going to make this work regardless of my personal situations. And then that is something that we sort of talked about pretty live as well. So we did want to sort of ask you a little bit about your circumstances and sort of the reason that you're able to go full time, and it's different for everyone, as you said before the live. So I guess that's a question to you: is like, do you think it's the same for everyone, or are there things that allow you to be in the position that you're in now?
Well, obviously, as I said before the live, it's going to be different for everyone. What the amount of money that they need to live off, different. Dave Ramsey, the financial guru. He often talks about a concept, and I haven't read his book, but I hear his little YouTube videos, and he talks about the concept of you need to have a bigger shovel than the hole that you have dug, and that hole is the debt that you have, and the shovel is your income, right? And I don't have any debt, I'm fortunate enough to say, but obviously that hole can be represented as your kind of monthly expenses, and that's obviously going to be different for everyone. And I know that my living costs are very low. I was fortunate enough to go full-time when I was still living with my parents, meaning that I really didn't have many monthly expenses. So I kind of look at it as I was kind of able to do it like a soft trial run kind of thing, because obviously I had a lot to fall back on, and not everyone is going to be in that position. So to answer your question, I would say it's definitely different for absolutely everyone when they choose to go full time, how much money they need to do that to see it as sustainable.
Definitely, and I think that's a key point. Is everyone's journey is completely different, but you've now moved into your own sort of place, really, 3 beds, 3 bedrooms. And you said they're filling up
eBay rooms.
Yeah, 3 eBay rooms. They're filling up pretty quickly.
2 eBay rooms. I would keep one for myself.
It'll kind of change soon. Don't worry about it. You sleep on the lounge. So it is very cool to sort of hear people talk about the reasons that they got into it and how they're able to sustain their income. Because like Shazad sort of asking, why did we get into it? And I think for us, it was always, we wanted to sort of see how far we could take it. If it could be something that we could both do full-time, then it would be something we'd both do full-time, because it's something that we both enjoy and we don't have to be working for other people, which I think is a big part of a lot of resellers' journey. I'm not sure if that's part of yours as well, Samson, is I'm sort of more self-motivated than I am by somebody else. So do you find that you're able to sort of keep on task pretty easily, or do you have to set yourself a schedule, or how do you sort of run your day, I suppose?
Well, I obviously I don't always succeed at it, but I really do try and break up my day into things that are going to be effective for my business, and I try and do as much as I can. And I feel like a lot of people who sell on eBay could relate to the idea of it never really stops. I think it is definitely important to set time for yourself, but that is like something that I'm struggling with, I guess you could say, because you just got to find that balance for when you put time to do things outside of reselling. But I'm very motivated to complete the tasks that I need to for my business. And as I said before, sometimes it doesn't work out, and there's all different things that can come up and change your plans. But one of the things I like about reselling is that there is no boss there to tell you that from this hour to this hour you have to be in this place doing this task. So. I really like that aspect of it. So I would say that I'm fairly good at self-motivating to complete my business tasks.
I think breaking those chains, as they call it, to a real job, especially when you're young, is something that a lot of people don't really realize is an option. So it's not something that you get taught at school, or there's no class that says this is how you don't work for the man. Like all the classes are, I'm going to teach you something, so you have to work for somebody. And I think channels like yourself, and I'd like to think us in some ways, sort of show people how that they can sort of build their own income online. So there's a lot of great channels out there sort of putting out this content. So I think the more and more people that get involved, the more people will recognize that. And for you to identify that as a 20-year-old is pretty awesome. And obviously you're very knowledgeable in what you know. I can tell that just by speaking to you. So yeah, it's pretty incredible for me to look and think, if I had started this 10 years ago, how that would have changed my life. So for you to be in that position right now, I think is pretty incredible. So you should definitely be pretty proud of yourself, I think.
We're excited.
Yeah, we're excited for you.
I appreciate you saying that. Thank you.
Do you think there's space for more people who are watching your YouTube videos to jump in and have a go, or is it kind of a capped market?
Absolutely. One of the biggest things that I try to preach with my videos is that many, many more people could be reselling, could be selling on eBay and in e-commerce in general. Yes, there are certain avenues of sourcing that are flooded and are probably going to become less and less viable. But that doesn't mean that the business of reselling, which is one of probably the oldest businesses in human history, the idea of buying something and then selling it for more money. That's not going away, and many, many more people could be doing it, because I would hazard a guess that there are a lot of people that just don't have that employee mindset that, you know, would want to be running their own business, that aren't currently, and probably could find a lot of success reselling if they put in the work.
Yeah, and I think that's the key word there, work. Reselling isn't a game for people that, you know, don't want to do work. If it's not a passive income, obviously the more you build your store and the higher amount of listings you have, it can be somewhat passive at some points in time, but you still need to keep listing and keep building that and turning over inventory, shipping stuff, sourcing stuff. And then you add YouTube on top of that, which I know is a big investment of time. So, yeah, it's interesting to sort of talk to other people that are doing this and sort of maintaining it. It's just really, really cool. I just want to say a quick hello to a few more people that dropped in. Hey, DBG, thanks for coming. Sarah over on Facebook, thanks for being here. Ken saying he did the same thing last year. Now he's sort of working a little bit with his son in his shop. I think that's more to support his son than anything, because I know that Ken's got a lot of stock in his store. And he's been talking about moving some of it. So that's going to be an interesting journey. Same here, Shazad got into it because bored and wife never home. I'm not sure if I got into reselling for being bored. It's definitely different. A young lad identifying that it's not healthy, sat playing games all day, props.
Sound off.
So he's saying that if you're able to identify that playing games isn't, it is very lucrative for some people, but
I knew when I was doing it. It's like when I was younger, I was a very, very active person. I played, you know, football and different sports, but I knew when I was playing the game, because if you want to make money playing video games, you got to play 8 to 10 hours a day. And I knew it wasn't healthy, but it was just so enjoyable that for the time I did it, I put up with that, you know.
It sounds like the dream, but
it's definitely difficult. Like, even when you're playing on your own for a period of time and you get like that restlessness and you're like, oh man, my back. Well, I do, because I'm old. Probably not so much for you, Samson. I got into reselling because someone on YouTube said I could make $1 million.
Oh no!
I'm not sure who said that. Might have been one of the real big channels that are making big money. But
I mean, you can.
The rest of us are making the ends meet, I'd say. He had a Lamborghini in a house on the beach.
Legit.
Do you think you have to close a major city to? Do you think you have to be close to a major city to make it work? That's probably a good question for you, Samson. So, how far are you away from your capital city?
So when I started reselling, I was on the New South Wales Central Coast, and that is it's not a major city, but it's a very built up for a regional area. I think it is considered, the Central Coast is a region, so it's not a city. But I have always said that is one of the things that does make reselling harder, or it makes it very different. I couldn't imagine running my business in I don't know, for example, Alice Springs or something. I think it would be harder. I think it would be, you'd have to go about in a different way. And Definitely. Since I don't have the experience of doing that, it's not really something that I can really talk about, but I can just imagine even something as simple as the increased postage costs, you know, that would be something that would add up. I can imagine having to pay $8.50 for every single item that you send. You know, so some of the items that I import at the moment, and these are just the ones that I have in the testing phase, but some of them have like a $3 or $4 profit margin. And that's with the postage cost averaged out at around $7.20 or something like that. Yeah. So if I knew that I was paying $8.50 for every single one that I sent out, it starts to become me thinking, is this even worth it? Items are going to take longer. That's not to discourage anyone there as well. I did a video on my channel where I went to just one thrift shop, and I really tried to maximize that just to see how it would be from the perspective of someone who only has one or maybe two options. And I was able to make a few $100 or get a few $100 worth of stock in terms of profit. So it is possible, but it's just going to be a very different challenge and one that I don't personally have experience in.
Yeah.
Completely appreciate that, as we're both from Alice Springs.
Yeah, we actually, Hamik Hustler lives in Alice Springs, and you're very right. Her way of sourcing is very different, and her expenses are very different. Although she has found some killer stuff in some of the op shops there, she doesn't have many.
Adaptable.
So that's definitely a valid point. And I laughed when you said about the postage cost, because we've been looking at a few options, and one of them was pretty regional. And Jazzy's first comment was, but that means we're going to have to pay $8.50.
Ban free. Put in the ban free for everything.
Yeah, so you're spot on there. It's made us have a bit of giggle. Got to make time for stuff outside reselling for sure.
It's true. It's hard, but it's true.
Try and catch up because I have missed a bunch.
Oh, we are behind. Sorry, guys.
I opened a high street shop at age 22. I don't know how I did it now. I look back. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
That's a big commitment.
Scott had a real job for 10 years. Doesn't recommend it.
No. I'm close to have it. Well, my current job's almost at 8, and before that I was 8 in my previous job. So
I think I've stayed in jobs for 6 years at a time usually.
Well, you got about another 5 years left with 2 at then in that case.
All right.
Matt's what I am's in the chat. Thanks for being here, Matty. If anyone has any questions for Samson along the way, please drop them in because absolute ball of knowledge and has plenty to give. So please drop them in. My kids 14 and under have their own store. Wow, that's awesome.
Start them young.
Junk Removers Ian, thanks for being here. Flipper J, Samson the best, love his knowledge and I learn a lot from him.
I get really good tips from Sam's channel.
My 18-year-old brother plays
professional.
There you go. Dude can't see straight. I can't see straight either, so I wouldn't be any good at gaming. I don't know where we're up to. What's up, Tommy? Good to see you.
Tommy,
thanks for being here. Flipper. There we go. Dropping the thumb. Thank you very much. I'm going to skip to the bottom. So if I've missed anyone in the chat, I'm very sorry.
The chat's been going crazy.
But I appreciate everyone jumping in. What kinds of things do you sell and where do you usually source? So we actually had a little bit of a segue to that question. So we'll sort of tag on the back of that because we know that you import a little bit of stuff, like you said just before, and you do a bit of op shopping. So what is
Facebook? As well.
Facebook as well. So what is your favorite type of sourcing?
My favorite type of sourcing in terms of my enjoyment is probably Facebook Marketplace because I can wake up and I can scour Facebook Marketplace and Gumtree and the online sales sites for a couple of hours in the morning, and I can get all of the stock that I would probably need to, hit the requirement that I have, which is usually around $200 in profit for a day of sourcing. That's like the minimum amount that I like to try and bring in when I do focus on sourcing. Facebook Marketplace is my favorite. The most profitable for me is probably importing because you can make, it's kind of, it's more of an involved process, but if you find a winning product, you can start making, quote unquote, big money because you can find a product that's replenishable. You can build a relationship with a supplier. And by no means have I gotten to the point where I've, found products that are making me thousands and thousands of dollars, but I have had, glimpses of that. And I've had products that consistently generate sales. And I now know that I can basically expect this product to keep selling. So that's really useful. I like to run as much of my business as I can. Just from the comfort of my own home, if I can. I like it to at least make it sustainable from that aspect. But obviously op shopping and garage sales. Actually, this weekend I went out garage selling. I didn't really find anything. I bought the GoPro and everything. And it was just one of the days, it was just a bust. I filmed an intro and everything. I was going to make it a video. And then it was just a bust. I went to, around 3 or 4 and I got like 1 or 2 things. So I'd say, it probably Facebook Marketplace because it's really consistent for me. And I kind of know how to make it show me what I want it to show me at this point.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's been one of my biggest frustrations lately is we've started buying, obviously our journey, we bought quite a lot of bulk buys along the way, and having that stock like available to me all the time and just going to the shed and picking something else out and listing it has been awesome. And now recently I've started going op shopping again, and I'm not sure if it's because there's a lack of stock there or I'm really looking for very specific items because I have so much stock, but we are finding less than we ever sort of found before. So I definitely like the stock coming to me now that I've worked out how to do that and do it pretty well, I think. So I definitely understand when you say Facebook Marketplace, you might have to go pick it up, but you know that you're getting a certain amount from that place for a certain price. So yeah, it's definitely a good point. Aside from thrift stores, yard sales, what's another good way to source? So you sort of talked about that already. Do you do any like auctions or anything like that as well, Samson? Do you jump on auction sites?
I have dabbled in it. It's kind of, it's interesting that the auction sites, I usually find that the devil's in the detail with them, because it's like you will purchase something and you think you're like, you're aware that the premium is there, but you get involved in bidding for this thing to a certain point, and then you tack on the premium, and they usually, they obviously have to pay for the shipping as well. And it's just kind of, for me, it's been solid. When I have done the auctions, I did it on like a bulk lot of electronics like quite a while ago, and that one was successful. But then I did a few others, which was like some more, it was like these server kind of things. I think you guys have some from the brand called Cisco. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, we had Netgear ones, but yeah.
Right, okay. Yeah, there was some Netgear ones as well. And I got it in, and it was kind of older stock. And even though they did have like a good value on eBay, it was slow moving stock. And I think that there is definitely generally a reason why the stock that is in these auction sites is in there. It's either stock that you need to buy in at a quite a high price, or it's stock that's going to be slow moving. But I that's just my experience with it. So yeah.
Yeah, I think there's definitely opportunities, more so online than the ones that are just local and you can go to and view stuff. But definitely the devil's in the details. And a great example of that is we were looking at a massive lot of G-Star from one of the, I can't remember which auction house, but essentially I contacted them and found out via email that it was all seconds and returns and damaged stock. However, in the listings, they hadn't put that. They just did it as if it was new. So we could have heavily invested in that and then got it and realized that it was all seconds.
Every single piece is damaged.
So is in the details. It's a very important
I would just say that I feel generally that the people at these auction sites, I don't know if this is a vibe that I've just picked up, but I just feel like they're not really trying to help me. One time I contacted one of the sites, I forget which one it was, but I called them up and I said, hey, I'm really interested in this lot of stuff you have, but can you give me some more pictures? And they were just not interested in doing more pictures. They weren't interested in giving me a postage price even before I'd bid on it. They basically wanted me to just buy the thing and then sort out the postage price. And I just thought, well, you're probably doing a lot of volume, but I feel like you should have someone there that can handle this kind of request. I just feel like they haven't, auction sites and auctioneer type, I don't know, they haven't seemed to be able to help me with my requirements.
Yeah, and I think it's important understanding how much risk you're willing to take on those sorts of things as well. And if you're sort of, just starting a business, maybe those risks aren't suitable for certain people, and for other people they are suitable. So it's just that game of understanding what your risks are and what can go wrong. Sujo Cat has dropped in. Thank you for being here.
Good to see you. It's been a while.
The chat just did that thing where
it
goes crazy. Thrifted.me is in. Good to see you. I saw Look Mom hustling there as well. Good to see you guys. I think you said known products can pretty lost there.
Sarah's got one there on Facebook.
Joey's in. Thanks for being here. We've got Joe Biden and apparently the real Trump in the chat. So
Mr. President,
worldwide apparently.
Oh God.
Anyway,
hope they're keeping it civil down there.
Yeah, well, it could be some interesting chat going on. Thank you, very intriguing. What would you say is your bread and butter? Do you? Yeah. So what are the items that you always look for and you just churn and burn, as they say?
My bread and butter items are men's shirts that I buy for approximately $5 and I sell for between $25 and $50. That's my bread and butter. And I'm obviously generally closer to that 25 range for those types of items.
I think identifying in your area what your bread and butter is, I think that's super important. And for us, it's become sort of, well, we have R.M. Williams here, obviously, and we find so much that stuff. And sometimes we pick it up for $2 and other times we pick it up for $12. But
it evens out.
We're able to source it regularly and we turn it regularly. So I think if you're able to work out what's in your area, whether there's factories around or specific brands that are in your area that get distributed quite heavily, DFOs even, if you can do a bit of RA.
Man, you must be near some golf courses because you get so many polos.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was almost about to say, if you wanted me to even go more specific, the exact item that is my bread and butter item is probably either a rod and gun, R.M. Williams, or maybe a Fred Perry polo shirt. Those are the three things that I seem to get a lot of in terms of men's clothing if I wanted to get really specific. Yeah.
They're always there.
Cool, good. Sure. A lot of Facebook marketplace don't post. Very sad face. Yeah,
I feel like that may change.
Yeah, I think it's definitely starting to change. A lot more people are happy to post. Putting ads out on Facebook for stuff that you're looking to buy has helped us in the past as well. I actually had someone send me a cap from the F1 racing because I'm sort of doing a little bit of a range of that at the moment. And they just posted it to me and they just charged me postage. So I was like,
wow.
Thanks.
Yeah, I've had that once or twice. Someone, they might be saying, I'm just getting rid of this stuff. And they're happy for me to just pay postage and they're still going to send it to me, even though they are taking time out of their day to go and do that. So, yeah, it's great when that happens. Usually they won't be open to doing something like that. But usually I'll just say, I'll throw you $10 or something like that for your time, you know?
There are generous people out there.
Here's a good, we actually picked something up for Brad from an auction house down here. And in the photos, it looked like a full-sized basketball. But when we got it, it was like literally this big. Like it was. Like,
I wondered if he knew that when I picked it up. I was like, oh, it's tiny.
So you do have to be careful when buying online. That's one thing. The Junk Removers is setting up a Facebook store at the moment. That's awesome.
Exciting. Is that something that you are thinking of for yourself, Sam?
It's not something that I'll be doing in the immediate future, but I'm very interested in where Facebook takes the marketplace platform, because obviously they're a business and they're going to look to monetize it further, because right now I'm of the opinion that they could be getting more money out of it if they wanted to, I reckon. But yeah, I'm just interested to see. I'm kind of going to hold off on that. And then I'm going to see how Facebook kind of pushes what they decide to push, and if it becomes something that looks like it's going to have traffic, because that's the big thing obviously is the sales traffic, then I'm more than happy to open one. I don't think it will be that difficult, to be honest.
I think my opinion on it is Facebook already have the users. They have if you have a Facebook business page, they already have ad systems set up, so I think it will potentially be quite big if they get it right. So it's just whether they get it right.
If they get it right.
When buying 100K in stock and send it straight to tip, you find out fast issues that come with importing. Yeah, I guess that's part of the risk, isn't it? Not knowing exactly what you're getting sometimes. Daryl Hunt, have you worked out your hourly rate for earning and how does it compare to a normal job? Do you sort of look at it that way, or do you look at it in a weekly lump of money, or how do you sort of justify being a full-time reseller? Like, is there a number that you have to hit, or how do you work on that?
So I feel like if I was to give myself an hourly rate, I don't know if there'd be any way at this point that I could make it a true reflection of the amount of work that I put into it. Yeah. Because I wouldn't want to include my every waking hour, in the day, because that's I'm not actively working for every hour. But with running an eBay business, it can sometimes be like that. You've got a lot of stuff to do throughout the day. So to answer the question directly, I don't have an hourly rate in my mind. I'm confident just by the weekly amount that I take, I choose to keep for myself from eBay, that it's more than I'll be making if I, instead of a similar job, like a regular job. But my main confidence with eBay is that I'm confident that number can always grow, and that for the whole of 2019, really, I pretty much invested most of the money that I made on eBay into either other stock or things that I needed to run my business. So I'm very confident in the amount of money that eBay does make and can make for me in the future. But no, I don't have an hourly wage that I've thought about in my head for the amount of time that I put into it.
Yeah, I think that's a good point you made there as well, is like we've only just sort of got to the point in the last, I'd say, 12 months where we're comfortably able to draw a decent wage from our business, because our whole focus was turning that money over and over to get us to this point. And we still want to grow another 25-30% before we're comfortable. So I guess reinvesting, whether that's all of it or 80% of the profits that you get, is an important part about growing a business. And that just depends on how much you need to survive. So that was a very good point you made there. Tommy's given me a bit of a troll here. Samson, do you dream about rolling around in vintage T-shirts with rally roots? Or is that the kind of thing? Vintage shirts probably aren't my forte in buying, but I do like to buy them for myself. Do you do much in the vintage shirt section?
I can appreciate vintage shirts, and not just the money that they bring in, because I know in the previous live I was on, I said my favorite thing to sell is vintage shirts, and that is probably still true. But I feel like I watch Rallywood's videos, and you can tell, I guess, especially Ryan, because he's usually the main guy in the vintage shirt videos. You can tell that he has like a connection with these things from his childhood, and I probably generally don't have that kind of connection with these things, just maybe to do with my age a bit. But so I guess I don't have some kind of ambition of rolling around in vintage t-shirts with Rallywoods, but like I totally respect the interest, and I understand why the interest is there, the nostalgia of vintage shirts. But I don't really have that. Like, I like fashion a lot. I like clothing and why people wear certain clothing, but I guess there's just less subject matter that I would care about.
We can appreciate like your Harley Davidson haul.
Yeah,
It was like, that's very cool.
Yeah, I like that stuff. Yeah, I would say that is more my forte. I don't ride motorcycles, but I think it's just really cool, the amount of effort that goes into making those clothes. But I like vintage. I do like, I have a few vintage shirts that I've kept for myself, but nothing crazy. If it's worth crazy money, I've probably sold it.
Yeah,
I wish I had that same mentality, because I've got some very expensive shirts sitting in the cupboard right now.
Oh, wait till you forget about them, and then I'll flog them off.
Chat. What brands do you source in close? So you sort of talked a little bit before about Fred Perry, RM when you can find it, and Rod and Gun and stuff like that as well. Drew's reselling RM back in Australian hands now. Yeah, I did see that. I'm not sure. I'm very happy that it's back in Australia. I just don't know how that's going to change things for the market. So I don't know.
It's interesting
where that goes. Sam, did I hear right? You live down at Central Coast?
I used to live in the Central Coast. I lived in the Peninsula, if you know where that is. So yeah, I lived in Yamina Beach. I'm happy to say the suburb I used to live in. Yeah.
Is it? It's very nice over that way. We went to Yamba probably a couple of years ago now for a wedding, and I was like, man, I should move here. It was like super nice. Pretty, but I'm glad I didn't, because some pretty serious fires went through there. So Facebook is going hard here. No fees and free shipping the rest of the year. That's pretty awesome. Hey, Lainey, good to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks for coming.
I know Lainey's working on a charity event pretty soon, so I think we're going to be involved in that around the end of this month, so that should be some fun. Now we have Jeff Bezos in, so we've got Amazon in the house as well, so looks like there's some good quality trolls in at the moment.
This is why we let Tommy troll us, because he sorts out the rest of them.
Flood Coast Flips, thanks for being here. Good to see you. Cajun Roots has dropped in as well. Thrifters, Charlie, Jeff Pearson. Yes, Coast Boca Beach.
Boca Beach, nice.
You had some pretty interesting questions in your.
I was going to ask you, do you think it's important to have a second store, and what kind of advantages could having a second store be?
I think for me, it was very important to have a second store. I would say it's important at whatever level that you're reselling. If at least you're at kind of a level where you've been doing it for a few months, I would just open one, just to have that backup. Obviously, it won't help you if your main store gets in serious trouble, but there are all types of things that can affect an eBay store, and it's not something that I fully understand, but I've heard people talk, and I know from your guys' experience, you would have talked to people that have had stores take certain turns, and it's not just getting banned, but it can go in various directions, and it is ultimately an algorithm that decides what gets seen. So I would recommend everybody have a second store, even if it doesn't sell a different type of products.
Yeah, we have one that we put very little time into. It's sort of a bit of a backup, and if we want to do some importing and stuff like that and keep it sort of more private, we have that account there. And Jazzy's been listing like one item here and there, and it's actually been picking up for the amount of stock that we have on there. How many listings do we have? Like 60, and we've been selling stuff quite regularly on there. So it's interesting to see how like smaller stores can sometimes do better than bigger stores. Obviously, the algorithm picks up views and all that sort of stuff. So, g'day, Zach. Thanks for dropping in while pickling some onions. Was it onions? Yeah, onions.
Happy onion pickling.
If anyone has any more questions, drop them in, please. Chrissy's joining us over on Facebook.
Did you forget what it was called? Facebook? Staying in your own lane. Follow-up question. How long were you selling from your parents' house till you moved into your own?
At some level, it was a year and a half, and full time, it was for a few months.
Yeah. And while we're sort of talking about YouTube and that as well, I have dropped your link in the description. So if anyone wants to head over and check out Samson's channel, head over there, give him a sub. Definitely a channel that's on the rise and growing every week. So while we're talking about it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and share your YouTube on the screen without destroying everything. So hopefully everyone can see that. I wanted to sort of ask you a bit about what your YouTube goals are and sort of what your directions are. So from my sort of quick glance over in the videos that I've seen, you're all about sort of teaching and providing good content to people. So what's the sort of long-term goal with YouTube for yourself?
I think YouTube works if you find the balance between what you want to make and what the people who are generally interested in what you generally want to make, kind of where that intersects, if that makes sense. So like, I could make, 500 videos about the really specific thing that I want to talk about just for myself. And that's not to say I would never do that, but I want to make videos that provide value to a wide audience. And the area where I feel like I have at least some level of knowledge is reselling and selling on eBay. So that's what I'm going to double down on in the future. I plan to do more vlog style videos in the future where I show what my day-to-day life living, as a full-time eBay seller is in the future. And I also intend to continue to share all of the information that I learn from others and that I'm able to teach myself with reselling. So really at the moment, it's more of the same. But as I said, I'm always going to try and tailor the content that I put out onto YouTube to what people want to see and what people feel that there needs to be videos on.
Yeah, definitely. And I think BCP has
Thank
dropped
you,
your
Mr.
channel.
Bumcrack, sir.
BCP is probably one of the best mods on YouTube. So you've got a very esteemed guest in the chat. So thanks for being here, BCP. Really appreciate it. Good to see you around. Ken saying, getting ready to refire up my clothing store. I like the idea of keeping the junk and the clothing separate. Don't have a good answer. I did watch Ken's video today. Good to see him putting out some daily vlogs.
All the vlogs. That'll be really great to see some vlogs. But I do like in your videos, I know you've mentioned a few times, I haven't heard anyone else on YouTube give this tip before, so I'm going to give it. And I watched all the way through every video because I usually get a tip out of every single one.
I appreciate that. I try and cover something that hasn't been talked about on YouTube. I think in the long term that will pay dividends for me, in my opinion, because I could, anyone could just rehash the information that is already out there on YouTube. And I always try and cite the sources that I get for the information, because obviously I don't come up with this stuff in my head, but I try and provide the information in an area where it hasn't been posted before. At least I feel like that's the least I can do.
Yeah, definitely. And I think everyone has their own sort of slight differences in the way they do things and a little bit of different thinking around a certain topic. So I think, everything, pretty much 99% of things have been covered at some point in time. So you're never going to have something that's completely new. But if you can put it in a way that makes sense to your viewership, or, put an Australian spin on it, in our case, because Australia is different to the US, I think that is beneficial. And as Australia grows, which I assume it's going to with the reselling world after COVID, I think people like yourself will be in a good position to help those people learn. So, yeah.
The more people who are sharing just how they go about things as well, the more people are going to find something that can work for them.
Yeah, definitely. It's inspiring to see people Samson's age getting into this with a business mentality. I've been selling for years and I only ever thought of it as a hobby until recently. Yeah, I think identifying it so early is only going to put you in a better position come 10 years from now. So, yeah, definitely cool to see.
You're a busy man doing both eBay and YouTube. I'm curious if you've got any other kind of side hustles or things that you'd like to try out on the side.
Next year, I definitely want to get back into playing football. At the moment, I just ordered a treadmill for my house. So I'm hoping that's going to motivate me to run more. Like, I want to lose like a little bit of weight. So I guess that's kind of one of my focuses is like fitness and getting back into shape. And yeah, as I said, I wanted to play football next year, but I really don't have like a lot of time to put into another hobby. But I know that is long term, like realistically, that's not healthy. Like long term, I probably need to find one more thing that fills a bit of my time. But it's very hard when, like, to be honest, like every morning I wake up and I'm excited to do my job, so it's very hard to find that time to do that extra stuff when the job doesn't even feel like work for at least some of the time. So that's probably my only goal outside of YouTube and reselling. I want to get a bit fitter, and I want to get back into playing football next year, just for fun.
I think we could
Totally agree with that.
do with a bit more fitness in our life. I know I definitely could. So yeah, I think it's a pretty good goal. Do you find, like, I find YouTube, like, obviously you're uploading sort of at least 2 times a week at the moment, which is pretty regular, sort of similar to our schedule. But I sort of find it as a bit of, yes, there's a lot of time involved and a lot of effort sort of coming up with subjects that people are going to enjoy. And, even coming up with questions for a chat like this takes some time. But do you find it as a bit of an outlet? Because I have sort of find my pre-recordeds as a bit of a creative outlet. I'm not great at editing or anything like that, but, I try and put effort into every video to make it, watchable and enjoyable. Do you find YouTube, you sort of get a bit of creativity out of YouTube as well?
Absolutely. YouTube is my creative outlet. Like I live alone, I work, we work as hard as I can. I'm a pretty introverted person. I don't have a whole heap of friends. And that's kind of self-imposed. My best friend is my cousin. So I'm not really like someone who, goes out and socialize with a lot of people. So I really see YouTube as a way to connect with people and help people. And also produce something that is a reflection of my personality and a reflection of, like, I never want to put out a video just to put out a video. I always want to put out a video that generally not so much through the editing, but just through the way I present information. I want to put out something that reflects the way that I would like to be taught and the way that I would like to be, have things explained to me, and kind of like I'm talking to a group of people who are my friends.
Yeah, I think I don't know if this rings true to you as well, but I think over time when you're behind the camera, like when you first start out, you're a bit more, I don't know how to say it, not stressed, but you're not really comfortable in the situation. And as you sort of put yourself on camera more and more, you almost, like, you're not there because you're holding it or you're standing in front of it, but you kind of leave in a lot more of those things that you would naturally say, like the amount of stuff that I used to just like chop because I'm like, oh, that's not really relevant to reselling.
That's
and I don't think people really want to see us like messing around or having fun, because I wanted to make it educational. But as it came along, I was like, you know what, like, I'm going to keep those parts of our personality in there because it's more personable and it's more about you, which is kind of what you were saying just then. Like, you like to include your personality in the video. So,
what the funniest thing is, Brad, that in my opinion, it's the exact opposite of that. People want to see that. They want to see that personality based content. I feel like that's the only reason they don't just buy a course. They want to see or do something different, or just look it up online or on Wikipedia or something. People want to see the personality of the people who are delivering the information in most cases. I know the guy that you had on most recently was Harry Tornado. Yeah. And I believe, I might be wrong, but I believe that right now he's the fastest growing channel in the reselling space. I believe that is true. I might be wrong, but he's one of those guys when I see him, I'm like, right, only 1 in 10 people or something have that like personality. You know what I mean? Where they're immediately kind of, vibrant and energetic, and they can just, they can turn a mundane situation into something kind of funny and interesting just through their personality. And I think that's why he's succeeded so much. And I, even though I say that he is someone who has like a very specific personality in that regard, everyone does have that in them, to put out the way that they actually they actually are. But yeah, I feel like that's why he's a really good example of that. I think that it's not, because he is like a crazy successful businessman that his channel is blowing up the way it is. I think it's because he is someone who's really good at entertaining people just with his personality. So yeah, I always try and put my personality into my videos.
Yeah, I think that is something that we've sort of like consciously been more aware of lately, like trying to just include like our daily lives and some of the stuff that we say to each other and have a laugh about, or, leaving bloopers in when we make them, because everyone makes mistakes, right? So I think there is some fun involved in it. And yeah, I definitely enjoy that balance of that you're putting out of like good quality content, but also providing a personality behind that. So yeah, I definitely see your channel growing quite fast.
Rapidly.
And you could overtake the fastest growing channel of Hairy Tornado at some point. And, we'll see what the future holds.
Cheering.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know about that.
Well, you never know.
I just think he's a really good example. Like when I see his videos, it's like within the first 5 seconds, and it's not like he's tricking you or anything. It's like, and he's obviously not the only guy that does it. There's a lot of people who are really good at this, and it does come with experience. But it's like whatever his personality is, he is really able to convey it. I feel like that's why it's doing well for him.
Very like attention grabbing, which I notice you do in your videos as well. It's like, here I am, here's what we're talking about, let's get into it.
Yeah, it's very good content. So
I did see a good question. I'm sorry, it's a little bit further up. And it was, oh no, when I see it, here we go, Jeff.
Did your parents support you when you sold out of their house? I'm glad mine do, since I am 15 and still in school. Did your parents support you when you, I'm presuming they mean when you,
their house and selling.
Oh, right. So
not selling their house.
Yeah, I was like, what? So were they sort of supportive of the business? Were they involved in the business at all? What was their sort of take on reselling?
Yeah, they were definitely supportive. I was very fortunate to be in the situation I am in, which kind of ties back into, the idea of a person being able to go full time is a very, very personal decision. And it's not about a sales figure or an income figure. It's about your situation. And I was fortunate enough to have parents who definitely supported me. I mean, they supported me trying to play professional Fortnite for 3 months. So reselling was nothing for them, you know what I mean? Something that even before me playing the video game was already bringing in, a solid amount of money. And they recognized the need to expand. I remember, so I actually like my first money that I invested into reselling was like my 18th birthday money. I just kind of saved it. It was probably around $500, and I just saved it. I didn't know I wanted to use this on reselling. And I just saved it, and I thought, what am I going to, do with this money? And I decided to use it to buy some of the first stock for my business. And I remember on my 19th birthday, I'm pretty sure they purchased me. It might've been it was something. It was like some shelving. I'm pretty sure, but they actually got me. I'm pretty sure it was it might just have been a gift, but yeah, basically they were really supportive of me as reselling. Always, looking for stuff. Like if my dad would go past, a store that maybe he thought I hadn't seen. Like he said, hey, there's an op shop down in this area, and you might not be aware of it, and I'd go and check it out. So yeah, I would say definitely supported by my parents.
That's awesome. Having like family like that does that. My mum sends me photos all the time. She's like, will this sell well? And I'm like,
yeah.
No, but they picked up some gems for me. They picked up a Sony voice recorder that's probably worth about $200 because I had a few cassettes with it as well. So I was like,
thanks, Mum.
Keep sending me the photos.
Yeah, it's worth it. Even if parents, if they hit 1 in 10 times, it's still worth it. It is, kind of funny when you go into the salvos. At first, I had to tell my dad to stop doing this because at first I was kind of worried about the people in the shop, like basically saying, "Oi, you're a reseller, like get out." You know what I mean? Because my dad would like not shout, but he'd speak really loudly across the store, like, "Hey, Samson, is this worth anything on eBay?" I'm just looking at the little old lady behind the counter, and I'm just thinking, are you about to kick me out, or are you about to come and enforce the anti-reseller rules? Or I don't know. So but I had to get him to tone that down. But it was definitely, something he did because he wanted to support me and, help me grow my business. So I'm still thankful for it.
Yeah, definitely.
We have had exactly the same interaction in op shops.
Yeah.
Do you want this for your eBay store?
How much will this sell for? And you're like, well, enough because you just ruined this whole thing.
And it's worse when
Yes.
it's worse when it is something that is actually worth something, because you actually have to go across and say, well, yes, I will sell that on eBay.
Thanks. Direct Flipper saying YouTube for me has just allowed me to meet many amazing people. And I think that's what it's done for us as well. Obviously, being resellers, we don't really have those sort of, well, my workmates, because I work full-time still, but a lot of us that don't have full-time jobs, like our YouTube community or Instagram communities or Facebook communities are our work colleagues. So having that support network that you can flick someone a message through every once in a while, or ask somebody if they've, come across something like this before, and if you can't find comps, people try and help you out, is definitely valuable. So,
or you find something really cool and you just know the other friends will not quite appreciate it as much as you.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, yeah, that's cool, I guess.
Caught a guy walking out in the op shop today with a Knight Rider board game. He paid $1 watching live shows and made me late.
Dang those live shows.
There's something here. I remember when I got my first shelving, it was great getting my hand on the Knight. Good joke. That's the difference with Harry Tornado. He considers YouTube just as much of a
part of his
business.
business. Yeah. Which is what he was explaining to us. And I was like, I've never heard anyone say that quite as precisely as you just did.
Nobody suspects that I reseller chats have got loads of us through COVID. Yeah, definitely. Like the live streams on the weekend that Ken and Drew's been doing have been good. So, you can put it on TV and list away. And then if something comes up you want to comment on, you can jump back and say, hey. So yeah, I think like having chats like this and exposing yourself to new people and learning stuff off new people is incredible. And I know that I've taken things from your channel that I wasn't aware of before, and you grow from everyone that you interact with. So I'm definitely thankful for YouTube. Do you get paid on your YouTube? We were talking a little bit about this before. So obviously we're very small YouTubers still. So our level of income compared to people like Harry Tornado is very small. So I think over the last month, I'm happy to share my numbers, and I know everyone's different depending on your CPM and where your videos get viewed the most.
It's actually really inconsistent and confusing if you're not YouTube.
Yeah. So I think last month we made about $160. So not a huge amount of money, but we do make a little bit from ad revenue and for those awesome people that drop us super chats. So that is part of it. And I know Samson has been monetized recently and been doing okay with it as well. It's up to him whether
I monetized it. I monetized it towards the end of last month. And I'm actually, I won't reveal the amount of money that my YouTube channel, it's not a crazy amount of money. I have 1,500 YouTube subscribers, so it's nothing like a Harry Tornado or anything like that. But I will be releasing a video breaking that down. So that's why I won't spoil it on this live. But I will say that it was surprising to me, the amount of money that can be made even on a small YouTube channel.
Yeah, and I think we're sort of talking about the differences, and you've got quite a strong US viewership, whereas we've got a very Australian-centric viewership, probably because of our name as well. But the CPM difference is quite a lot. We're talking pre the live, and I was quite surprised with the difference. So
doing good, man.
You're definitely smashing it, and as you grow, it's only going to get better and better. So
best thing you can do if you see someone's YouTube videos and you've just been introduced to them, maybe you're seeing Samson for the first time tonight, is if you're working at home, put them on and just let it play.
Yeah.
Because if they can make a couple of bucks, that's why they're going to probably keep making videos for you.
Yeah, and I think the amount of effort that people like Samson and we put quite a lot of effort into our videos as well. I think that small amount of money sort of keeps people going. So
keeps you motivated. So
I think
watch away if you've got the time and the will.
Valuable money, and obviously you're giving away your time. You're not charging for it. You're just asking people to watch it. So yeah, I think that's very good. My question is for Samson: How is life for you living by yourself versus being at home with your parents?
It's very different. I I stated before, like I'm quite an introverted person, and basically what that means to me is that I don't really need to be around other people to get that kind of energy. Like obviously, I still enjoy interacting with people, obviously, but I don't really like being around a ton of people, if that makes sense. Not never, but just in my day-to-day life, I like to keep to myself. So I haven't really missed being with my parents. They still come and visit me. They've come up, will come down to Sydney most weeks. I see them at least once every week or two. So I would say that there was like some small differences, like having to put stuff in the dishwasher and all. I already did do. I don't want to make it out like I did nothing around the house before I left, but it's obviously a lot more now, and things like organizing to go and do a shop, because you don't realize when there's already food in the fridge that when you're at home, that the food just keeps coming, it just keeps coming, and you actually have to go and, get food. And I've been trying to eat healthier. So I'm, not just going to have McDonald's and, all of those types of stuff. I've really been trying to, prepare all of my meals, but I think it'll be something that I get better at as I get used to it. No, so far, touch wood, there's been no major challenges. The house hasn't flooded or anything like that, but yeah, I can imagine that, stuff like that, maybe not that specifically, but stuff definitely will come up.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. That's life, and you deal with that as it comes, unfortunately. Yeah. DVG, Jazz, what's on your shirt? So vintage.
Uriah Heep,
yeah,
baby.
vintage Uriah Heep. So pretty stoked with that one.
That is a gift from Castle Door Select, and I'm stoked on it.
Tommy, yes, the US CPM is way higher due to being a US company and the adverts.
I said no one understands, and then like 5 people explained YouTube to me.
And I think I was talking to someone the other day as well about the US elections. Obviously, CPM is quite high in the US because the elections are coming up and they're paying a lot of money to get their stuff advertised. So, if you can get onto the US CPM, you're doing all right. Mum reckons she's done that a few times in the op shop.
We called her out.
BCP's dropped your YouTube channel in the chat. So if you haven't gone over for whatever reason and checked out Samson yet, head over there. Dropping videos twice a week, Samson, now?
Twice a week.
What days are you dropping them at the moment?
I upload a video both at 9 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, so Sydney time, on Thursday and Sunday.
There you go.
Perfect.
So hit that bell for him so you get notified when it comes on in your time zone. And hopefully, there will be some more awesome content coming out shortly. So definitely. I just want to see if there's anything else in the chat before we head off. Otherwise,
questions.
Great chat. Thank you for being here. DVG saying your shirt suits you. Oh, dang, I just flooded the house again.
No.
Yeah.
You did it. Right. You caught up.
Yeah, we're there. So thank you. We've gone over an hour and it flew by. So I wanted to thank you for giving us an hour of your time.
Yeah.
And spending the evening with us and giving us all the great insight into your life and your reselling journey. And I think going forward, we're only going to see big things for Samson. So super stoked to be a part of your journey and getting you on. Here's the guy who dropped us our shirts as well.
Check it.
The shirts. Mom, Kiddo, and I are watching. Question for Samson. What are your main goals for this upcoming year? We'll answer that before we head off. What's your main goals? That's a good way to wrap it up for this year.
My main goals, definitely consistency. I already have a formula that I'm confident in with eBay. It obviously can be improved, and with YouTube I want to remain consistently uploading a minimum of 2 YouTube videos per week, and I want to consistently get I actually wouldn't want to put a number on the eBay listings I want in my store, but I definitely want to consistently list at least 5 out of the 7 days a week, and I want to continue selling on eBay full time, obviously. I want to double down a bit more on Instagram. So far, it's just been something that I haven't really felt I've had the time for, but I know I could make the time. If you'll see in the past on my Instagram account, I just used to upload whenever I uploaded a video, I just put the thumbnail and then make that an Instagram post. I've now learned that that's not really best practice, because it's not something that people would really want to see on Instagram. Just a picture of the thumbnail. They more prefer content that is kind of interesting or engaging or asks a question of the viewers. So yeah, I want to get better with Instagram, because that's one area that I haven't really given much attention. But outside of that, I just want to maintain consistent growth on both YouTube and eBay.
You absolutely will. I think, it's really exciting to see.
That's inevitable, really. Michael saying, great show. Thanks for coming along. Really appreciate it. Everyone have a wonderful night and take care. So go check out Samson. We have a video dropping on Friday for our 3K subs giveaway. So this is a pretty insane drop that we're doing for 3K. So head over to that video on Friday and leave a comment. There's a special word you guys need to use. And then we'll be running the giveaway the Friday after. So jump on that. We've got some massive stuff to give away for that, to show our thanks to everyone that's joined us on our journey so far.
And it might be a prize that really helps someone out.
Yeah, definitely. It's a
practical.
Yeah, we tried to change it up this time. So join us for that. We'll have some guests on and some fun. Thanks again to Samson. Go check out his channel, and hopefully we'll see him again soon on another live chat for some more awesome info. Is there anything you want to say on the way out, Samson, at all about your channel or what's coming up?
I just want to say thank you very much, Brad and Jazz, for having me on. I really appreciate you giving me the time and the platform to share my story and share what I do in terms of my channel and also on eBay. Yeah, thank you very much for having me, and I also appreciate everyone in the chat who chose to come and see what I was about.
Thank you.
Definitely,
Nicely said.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks everyone for being here, and we will see you next week on 12 Thrifters.
Good night.
Bye.